On this week's show, the NFL had a super wild card weekend, and there was a college football all-star game played that we've never heard about.
In this week's history lesson, we tell the story of the incredible highs and lows of scores in Arena Football League history.
That and much more this week in the world of football.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of This Week in the World of Football. This is episode number 232 for January 18th, 2022. I'm your host, Randy Snow, and across the table from me, as always, is my son, Adam.
Yep, I'm here. Nothing smart or snarky
No
to
witty
say.
banter to start the show this week?
I guess not.
Fine.
Wow. You really wanted that witty banter, didn't you?
Well, that's what it calls for right there, but you're not going to give it to me this week, so
No.
fine.
You know what? I'm going to give it to you in my opinions and hot takes, that's for sure.
Oh, God. Here we go. We come to you each week from the World of Football Man Cave, located right here in the center of the football world, Kalamazoo, Michigan. We're here to promote the game of football in all its many forms, past, present, and future. From the NFL to the CFL to the XFL, college, high school, indoor, and arena football, we inform and entertain our listeners with the glorious buffet that is the world of football. All this while keeping a close eye on the rich history of the game. Thanks for checking out our podcast. We'd love to get your feedback on one of our many platforms: Apple Podcast, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and now YouTube, where we post the entire audio portion of this show, as well as other selected videos. So, let's review what happened this past week, and we begin with the World of Football scoreboard.
That's right. We're running out of scores to talk about, but these are the games that matter now, everybody.
Yes.
We entered the NFL's wild card round, or super wild card weekend, as they started branding it, because of the 3-day span of the NFL playoffs. 2 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday, and 1 big Monday night game to cap it all off. A football fan's wet dream, if you will. I don't know about you, but I enjoyed the fact that I was able to enjoy so much football this past weekend.
These games did not disappoint. I mean, a couple of them were really good, depending on what team you're rooting for.
We'll get there.
But that was some pretty exciting games.
And some games that maybe shouldn't have been decided by referees.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
That kind of comes with the territory. And here we go. We're going to start off with the first game of a doubleheader on Saturday, which saw the Cincinnati Bengals get their first playoff victory in over 30 years. They have broken their streak. They are no longer the longest drought in playoff wins in the NFL.
Who has that now?
Gee, our beloved Detroit Lions are now currently on the clock with the longest drought.
Yeah, the longest drought in playoff wins.
But we're not here to talk about our beloved Detroit Lions, because guess what? They didn't make the postseason, so we aren't going to talk about them. But what we will talk about is how the Cincinnati Bengals got a 26-19 victory over the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders, a commendable effort, just kind of came up short there, but the big play everybody was talking about was in the first half, I believe. I forget exactly when in the game, but it was an inadvertent whistle that should have killed a touchdown for the Bengals.
Right.
That everybody was talking about after this game, and we all heard the whistle. We've heard the replays, seen the replays.
Yep.
We heard that whistle before the ball was caught, and despite the NFL's statement, despite all these officials coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, we heard it after the catch," like no.
Yeah.
So the NFL's blatantly just covered it up. They're trying to sweep the dirt under the rug, even though we all watched it. They think we're a bunch of idiots.
Yep.
But I get it. They're just going to move on. It happened. I'm not upset about it yet. Was it an inadvertent whistle, and should that have been a dead play? Yeah, it should have. And they should have just reset the down and done it over. But, I mean, I get where they would have stopped it where Joe Burrow, they thought Joe Burrow might have stepped out of bounds.
Right.
But he didn't. He still made the throw, and I'm okay with it. I think either way, it would have been a touchdown if the whistle wasn't blown. But it was blown, so I get that you'd want to follow the rule to stick with, hey, look, we blew the whistle, our bad, we're going to start the play over from, just a do-over. So, I don't know. Was that the big difference maker in the game? Technically it was. That's a touchdown that could have come off the board, could have been a field goal for all we know, or they could have still punched it in at that point. Right. Hard to say, but, I think the team that should have won the game in the end. The Raiders just came up short there towards the end of the game. I thought maybe they'd send it into overtime, but just wasn't meant to be.
I wonder if the rules committee is going to look at that in the offseason.
Oh, there's going to be so much they have to look at this offseason. And we'll get to the other one in a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
so.
but and they said that particular crew is not going to work anymore.
Oh, yeah, that was something that came out, after they stood by their officials. Then they said, and by the way, they're not doing any more playoff games this year.
We're not going to let them call in more games.
It's the first playoff game also in NFL history in which each team had 4+ field goals made. So another little bit of history there on top of the Bengals snapping that streak. Anything else from that game before we move on?
No.
All right, well, congratulations to the Bengals. And I guess one thing I do want to mention is that interim coach, whose name escapes me right now.
For the Raiders.
For the Raiders. He spent the night after the loss writing handwritten notes to his team, all the players, thanking them for their hard work over the season, and give that man the full-time job.
Yeah.
I know they ended up, and I guess, I don't know if we were waiting to talk about it in the news, but the Raiders did fire GM Mike Mayok.
Right.
And so now the big question is, will they keep the head coach, or are they going to bring in a new GM to, bring in his own coach?
Yeah, I don't know. But I thought I saw last night that they flashed on the screen that the Raiders have asked to talk to a couple of different people about their head coaching job. Yeah. So maybe they're not going to keep him around. Maybe they're going to hire a new GM and then let the new GM decide, do you want to keep this guy for a year or so, or do you want to start with your own guy?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen there.
Yeah, who knows? The Raiders are a weird, dysfunctional organization. But, I don't know. I think that interim coach did a heck of a job with everything he had to deal with this season.
Well, he might get a look somewhere else now.
I hope so for his sake. I hope so. All right, moving on. The Buffalo Bills steamrolled the New England Patriots 47-17 in a game that, oh boy, I mean, as fun as it was to watch Buffalo do what they did, it was not a fun watch, all in all. Josh Allen becomes the first quarterback in Buffalo Bills history with 5 passing touchdowns and no interceptions in a playoff game. Josh Allen looked incredible, nigh unstoppable in this game.
They looked really good. I thought the Patriots would give them a run for their money.
Same here.
No, they did not. The Bills had total control of that game, and
I think that the tipping point. I think the tipping point had to have been before the game. Whatever fan brought in the sign that said Mac Jones eats boneless wings, I think that really did it in for the New England team, and they just couldn't recover from that that verbal or the signage burn from the start of the game.
I don't think so, but an interesting.
Let me have this one. So anything else from this game before we move on?
No,
other than that game was cold. I want to throw out there all the breath you could see during that game. Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
If I didn't know it was taking place in the cold, I would have said that was all computer effects. But man, you could just see everybody's breath on the field. It was that cold. And before the game, I guess, I don't know if this ever sold out or not. I haven't heard the numbers, but I know there were tickets still for sale for a home playoff game, and you still got tickets on sale for $20 to $30. Come on, Buffalo.
Yeah, those fans are crazy. They'll show up with no shirts on in this type of weather.
Did you see a Washington quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick was at that game, shirtless.
I did not.
He was in the stands shirtless watching the Bills game, and there's a great video of him just getting into it. Oh, that was great. Go check that out.
But yeah, the Bills, like Kansas City, they kind of faltered a little towards the middle of the season.
Yeah, and
lost some games they shouldn't have. But now, come the playoffs, they're right back where they should be. They're beating everybody up. So how far can they go? Who knows? They could go all the way to the Super Bowl.
But with them moving on, it's going to make for some interesting matchups, which we'll get to in a moment. But first, we have to talk about this snooze fest that was the Buccaneers-Eagles game.
Yeah.
I came, we were watching the game together, and boy, we both fell asleep. You fell asleep before I did. And I fell asleep because the Buccaneers were just having their way with the Eagles. It wasn't even a contest. I think I did miss. You missed a couple of touchdowns.
I did.
And I think I missed one touchdown. And then the Eagles started scoring once I kind of came to. And
well, it's not unusual for me to fall asleep on the couch.
But for both of us to fall asleep.
But man, we both fell asleep. We both woke up like, what
quarter
is it?
Yeah, the game's not over yet. But the Buccaneers got the victory 31-15 over the Philadelphia Eagles. Mike Evans, how about this? The wide receiver for the Buccaneers becomes the first player in Tampa Bay Buccaneers history with 100-plus receiving yards and a receiving touchdown in a playoff game. Interesting little tidbit there. And for Tom Brady, he moves on again. This guy just racking up playoff wins, even though quarterback wins are not a stat. I'm throwing that out there. Quarterback wins are not a stat. Speaking of guys without quarterback wins, the Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott couldn't get it done against the San Francisco 49ers.
This was such a wild ending in that game. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I think
typical Cowboys, though.
Boy, this was something else. I thought this was a great game. I was rooting for the 49ers. I picked the 49ers in our picks. And they looked good. I thought the Niners looked great for most of this game. Deebo Samuel is one of the most electric players in football. And if you haven't watched a Niners game, you're missing out because this kid was something else. But Jimmy Garoppolo steered the ship, and they were in control of this game for about 3 quarters, and it started to slip away there towards the end of the game. The Cowboys started clawing back. We were like, there's no way they're going to make this comeback, right? And boy, oh boy, the Cowboys finally showed up in the fourth quarter.
They put themselves in a position, late in the game to move down the field and score.
Yep. And the 49ers gave him the opportunity with less than 40 seconds, I want to say, to march down the field. Mm-hmm. And that's what the Cowboys did. The Cowboys marched down the field, no timeouts. You're like, oh, my God, they're just letting them get to the sideline and get out of bounds to kill the clock. Yeah. You're like, this is going to happen. The Cowboys are going to throw it into overtime, right? And then for some reason, with 10 or 11 seconds left in the game, they call 14 seconds. Thank you. They call a quarterback draw.
I don't know who called a quarterback draw.
Probably Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator.
I don't know.
But they call a quarterback draw, and Dak gets a lot of yardage out of it.
Yep, he did.
Slides, and they go to set the ball, and as we all saw, if you saw the highlights, they tried to set the ball, but then the referee is the one who has to touch the ball before they can snap it.
They can't snap it until he touches it.
So the referee gets there, sets it down. He had to go through a couple of guys. He literally had to go through a couple of linemen to get there.
Push the guys aside.
And then by the time Dak got the ball snapped and spiked it, time was up. Yeah. And you hate to see a game end that way, but that's what you get, Cowboy. I think that run was a bad play call. Yeah. I mean, maybe if he wouldn't have run as far and slid, and then they did the spike, but
they ran the same play twice, which was an out pattern to the sidelines. I don't know if it was the same guy or not, but it was almost the exact same play, like for 11 yards when they needed 10, and out of bounds to get the first down and stop the clock.
But then
why didn't they keep doing that?
Right. But then the Niners came out after they got those 2 out of bounds plays with the most interesting defensive formation I think I've ever seen. I'm sure it's happened before, but I've never seen it where they literally just had 3 guys on each side of the field along the sideline. Like, they are not letting a guy go out of bounds. You were staying in bounds with 14 seconds left. And that's when they ran the quarterback sneak, which might have been a smart move, but boy, it backfired. I think somebody pointed out
had more time.
Well, I think the idea would have been if he wouldn't have ran as far as he did. Like, he was still in Hail Mary range. You could have run up, slid, get everybody set again, and spike it with, I don't know, 2 or 3 seconds left. But instead, he got a lot of yardage on that run. Yeah. And that cost him, I think, in the end. So you got to be a little more heads up. And, they're looking around for the referee. And the referee I don't know what the ref was doing. He was sprinting, booking it from the other county just to get to the line of scrimmage to set that ball. Yeah. But...
Well, they ran past him on the play, and before he had a chance to catch up, they were already trying to set the ball.
And as much as I say you get what you get, Cowboys, I do feel for the frustration. Well, okay, I don't feel bad for the fans because guess what? We got robbed in Dallas in 2014 during that playoff game between the Lions and Cowboys, and I will not feel bad for you, Cowboys fans.
Nope.
But I will say, does this make you question, should the NFL institute, within the last couple of minutes of a game, maybe even in college, if you get a first down, they
stop the clock.
They stop the clock long enough for everything to get set. Should the NFL look into this? I've been thinking about this since that happened.
During the last 2 minutes?
Maybe either, I don't know if, you just make it within the 2 minutes. That happens. That way you don't have this crazy, setting up everything. And I think that would benefit the NFL, but I don't know. I like having the NFL have their own set of rules as opposed to college. But I think this would solve some issues. Like, if they could just, if you get a first down, you don't have to get out of bounds anymore. But I like that part too. But I don't know.
If you know the rules, if you know what you're supposed to do, then you should be able to do it. It's not like they need to change the rules. They need to play within the rules, and the Cowboys did not do that.
That's true. I know they didn't, but I'm just saying, does this make you at least question, should they institute that? Okay.
Nope.
It was just
I say no.
It was just a curious query that I had.
No, I was not rooting for the Cowboys, but I picked them to win.
Yeah.
But I was so happy when they lost.
I think all of America,
49. I was a 49ers
everywhere but
fan.
the state of Texas was happy
Right.
about the result of that game.
So many good memes from the crowd.
Oh, my
Oh, that
goodness.
one girl that was crying, and so many other guys that were just looking on like, we're not supposed to lose this game. We're a better team.
Yep. Oh,
Oh, made me happy.
there's still a bunch of great ones out there. So I wish I could share all the memes. I was showing some to my coworker. My coworker's a Washington fan, but his brother's a Dallas fan. And I
Ugh.
said, "Have you talked to your brother?" He's like, "I'm afraid to talk to my brother." I was like, "Well, if you want to make things better, here's a bunch of memes you could send him." So,
Oh, you showed me the video of the Philadelphia fan that was just
Oh, the
going
angry
off
Philly
on,
fan?
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, he's
well, that's an
he's been
old
doing
video,
that for
but
years.
it's an old video, but it always gets brought up whenever the Eagles lose. But
But I'm sure there are plenty of Dallas fans.
there's a
like
bunch of
that,
great
too.
Dallas memes, like a lot of good SpongeBob mixed in with the Dallas meme. Oh, it's great. Memes aplenty for hating on the Cowboys.
Was that the Nickelodeon game? The
That was the
Cowboys?
Nickelodeon game. You want
Okay.
to talk about that?
I watched a little bit of that.
Yeah,
you know,
we did. We
telecast.
flipped over. We checked it out for a minute.
It was okay, and I saw an interview. They had a kid as a sideline.
Yeah, that was
reporter,
great. Seeing him
and he talked to
interview
somebody
the
afterwards.
kid talk to Deebo Samuel. Yeah, that
Yep.
was good.
So I guess that's fun for kids. I can't watch a whole lot of it. It's just
No,
a
it
little
was-
too silly for me.
It was. I think it's perfect. We tried watching it last year. I think we
Mm.
watched a lot of it last year just to see what it was all about.
Yeah.
But I think it's perfect for a younger audience to get acclimated to the game. However, I do think it's funny that an F-bomb did slip into the broadcast.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, it's the same feed that we get, so you could hear one of the players just yell F, and yeah, the kid. It was on the kid's broadcast, so it was like, oh boy, you guys gotta get real quick on that censor button. But that's what happens when you play live sports on Nickelodeon.
F stands for fudge.
Yeah. Well, if you've watched SpongeBob, it's F is for friends who do stuff together.
That's a sentence enhancer.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Randy loves his SpongeBob. That's a topic for another day.
I love that episode.
All right, enough about the Dallas Cowboys game and 49ers game. A game I didn't catch a whole lot of this, but it kind of went to where I was expected. The Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers 42-21. Travis Kelce becomes the first player in NFL history with a passing touchdown, a receiving touchdown, and a 100-yard receiving in a playoff game. So he was doing it all.
Yeah, well, here's all you need to know about that game. I watched pretty much all of it, but all you need to know is that the Steelers, early on, picked up a fumble.
They had a 7-0 lead, right?
Yep, they picked up a fumble around maybe the 15-yard line or so and ran it in 15 yards for a touchdown. Took an early 7-0 lead. And after that, the Kansas City Chiefs ran off 38 straight unanswered points. That's all you need to know about that whole game.
And the only other thing I knew was at halftime, I don't know if they showed anything on TV, but my roommate, one of his favorite artists, is a Kansas City native. His name is Tech9. He's a rapper.
Okay.
I think he's actually pretty good as opposed to some of the other rap out there. I actually like him. And he played at halftime on that little balcony they have there with that drum. I think he started a game once and got to beat the drum to start a game earlier this season, but he actually performed at halftime. And it was cool hearing a bunch of the Kansas City fans singing along with it. I was like, dang, this is interesting. I guess you're backing your hometown guy, and he's a big Chiefs fan, so that was kind of cool.
I didn't see halftime. I must have switched.
It had to have been just an exclusive thing. I think he streamed something for halftime,
Yeah.
but I saw that because I follow him on the internets. So, but I thought it was interesting. Anything else from this game other than Ben Roethlisberger's last game probably as a Steeler?
Yeah, probably.
Or the great meme of come to Kansas City for Big Ben's retirement party.
That was a good thing they had the week leading up to the game.
Yeah, that was good.
And yeah, that's basically what it turned out to be.
Yep. All right, and then the final game, the first for me, I think in my lifetime, a Monday night playoff game.
I think it is the first ever playoff game.
So it was the Rams-Cardinals, and the Rams routed the Cardinals 34-11, giving Matthew Stafford his first, and like I said, quarterback wins aren't a stat, everybody, but his first playoff win, as well as Odell Beckham Jr.'s first playoff win.
Yeah.
So
the
Rams looked good.
Cardinals could not do anything.
No,
I didn't out the first couple series.
I watched the first couple of series where Stafford threw it was a nice touch pass to the corner of the end zone. Odell just snagged it and got his feet down. That's one of the last plays I watched. before I had to go and get ready for work the next day, so I was in bed early. But the highlights I watched, it seemed like the Cardinals were backed up. They're back against their own end zone for half of this game.
Yeah.
And Murray threw a very Stafford-like interception there at one point.
Exactly, yeah.
Almost exactly like how Stafford threw it for a pick six. And they couldn't get nothing going against the Rams. The Rams looked like they wanted it so bad.
Yeah.
That home crowd was there. It looked like they didn't sell any tickets to Cardinals fans. So the Rams got the victory. And unless there's anything else you want to say about this game, other than, the Manning cast was pretty interesting.
Well, that interception that was returned for a touchdown, I think it was only 3 yards, and I think I heard him say that was a playoff record. Before that was like a 5-yard
interception return,
pick six, and so this set a new
it was
playoff
interesting,
record.
And that happened during the Manning cast's interview with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Which I got to watch some snippets of, and I thought that was a pretty good interview. The Rock is always fun to watch.
Yeah,
and the Mannings are fun to watch. And did you hear the Peyton Manning cursing on live TV?
I heard that he did. I don't remember if I actually heard it live or
Oh,
not.
I'll pull it up for you later.
I can't
but
remember.
I won't play it here because we're a family show,
Right?
And we will not curse on here. But
If
and
we
I don't
can
feel
help
like putting in a bleep button. But essentially, it was like I forget which touchdown had just happened, and you hear what's Eli? Eli's his name. You hear Eli go, "All right, and now we're gonna throw it over to Peyton to break down that touchdown." And there's a little bit of a pause, and then you hear Peyton just go, "I can't hear blank," and then you hear Eli go, "All right, never mind." And it's just like, hey, that's what happens when you do live TV, guys.
Yeah, I didn't realize they had a Manning
Oh,
cast,
it was-
so I didn't flip to it.
You knew it was there, but you wanted to see Stafford play without
Yes.
because you knew all the Manning cast. They just shoot the
right.
shoot the crap with whoever
I
their
wanted
guest
to pay
is.
more attention to what
Yeah.
Stafford was doing and his stats and all that from the regular play-by-play people. But yeah, speaking to The Rock was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
He's always so cool.
Yep.
And he talked about the XFL. I'm surprised they asked him about the XFL.
Well, he had XFL football in the background of his house there, along with a T-Rex skull.
Yeah, and he said something about wanting to get Peyton in the ring.
Oh, yeah,
and slam him to. I think Eli was egging him on for that.
And Eli wearing that gold chain from Snoop Dogg.
That's right. I thought about that. I said, is that the chain Snoop Dogg got?
Yeah, it
for him?
was. Man, we love the Mannings.
Yeah.
I wish they do another playoff game. I don't know if that's the only one they're doing for the postseason or what, but give me more Manning cast.
I wonder how much attention they would get if they did the Super Bowl, like an alternate Super Bowl.
Oh my
broadcast.
goodness!
I'm sure they won't do that.
I
because
would
they don't
almost.
wanna-
I
They
think
don't
I
want
would
to take
wa-
the viewers away from the regular broadcast.
Well, it depends on. I forget what network has it this year. Is it CBS who's got it?
I don't know.
I think CBS might have it. I could be wrong. I can't remember,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I don't think it's ESPN.
No,
but
I don't think so.
because if it was ESPN, we'd hear about Peyton and Eli doing a Super Bowl watch thing. That you tell me that wouldn't get all the ratings?
They got better as the year went along.
They did.
The first couple were kind of rough, but they finally worked it out. So.
Yep. All right. Well, we're getting a little long in the tooth here, so let's just break down what matchups we have now going into next week. And remember, we had two teams on bye. That was the number 1 seed Green Bay Packers in the NFC and the number 1 seed Tennessee Titans in the AFC. So for the divisional round on Saturday, we're going to have the 49ers traveling up to Lambeau to play the Packers. And then you're also going to have the Bengals traveling to Tennessee to play the Titans. On Sunday, you're going to have the Los Angeles Rams traveling across the country to Tampa Bay to play the Bucks. And then the Bills will travel across the country to see the Kansas City Chiefs. These should all be interesting games at the least.
Yeah, I think the two Sunday games are going to be the best, but that 49ers-Packers game could be interesting.
I think the Niners are going to bring it. I don't know if they'll win, but I think they're going to bring it.
Well, I hope so.
And then the Bengals, who knows if that Bengals team shows up?
Yeah.
Ooh, watch out, Tennessee.
Yeah, that could be.
So we'll see. And then same with Buffalo. Buffalo going into Kansas City. That should be a shootout.
A barn burner.
It should be. And I have no idea what to expect from the Rams Bucks. It could go either way.
Well, I heard him talking on TV today. They were saying that Brady doesn't have all of his weapons this year, from some injuries, and that the Rams defense could really, make him uncomfortable back there. And if they can do that, they've got a shot to win that game. So who knows? Who knows? But yeah, to me, that's the marquee game of the Rams and the Bucks.
Yep, and we'll do our pick video later this week, so be on the lookout for that before the games on Saturday at the latest. So
Okay.
all right, and that's it for the NFL side of things. But apparently, we have a couple of college scores to talk about.
Yeah, in college, there was the Hula Bowl this year. It was Team Chi over Team Ina by the score of 21-20, and this game was actually played at the University of Central Florida. When I think of the Hula Bowl, I don't think of Central Florida as a location for this. I mean, I know Aloha Stadium is, they can't use it anymore. I don't know why they didn't play it at the University of Hawaii Stadium or some other stadium there on the island, but yeah, it was played at the University of Central Florida, so a very close game. And, you hear about the Hula Bowl every year. There's always the Hula Bowl, the East-West Shrine Game, the Senior Bowl, the NFL Players Association Bowl. So, I knew about all those coming up. But then all of a sudden, as I'm looking up the score to the Hula Bowl, I find this other bowl called the Tropical Bowl. Never heard of this thing.
Yep. Can't say I have.
I'm looking at their website, and it talks about how they're the premier college all-star game for players that want to be seen by NFL scouts. And, that this is an annual game. And I'm like, I have never, ever heard of the Tropical Bowl until now. And it was the national team beating the American team 20-17. And this game was played in Orlando, Florida. So I have no idea who even played in it. I don't know if it was, FCS players or what the deal was. I didn't look that close into it on their website, but man, how can this be? How
could you let this slip through your fingers, Randy?
How did the world of football not know about this game if it's been going on for several years? Never ever heard of it. Never seen the logo until today, but it's just weird. Just weird.
Hey, sometimes it's like me with movies. Like people go, "How have you never seen this movie?" Hey, we all got gaps in our.
But maybe you heard of that movie, but you just chose not to watch it,
or I just haven't had time.
But you never heard of this one.
I mean, hey, I'm sure some games or some traditions are bound to slip through your history-laden fingers. So don't beat yourself up about it, champ. Now you know about it.
If anyone out there has ever heard of the Tropical Bowl, or if they watched it on TV, I don't even know if it was on TV. Tell me about it. Tell me how many years you've been watching this thing, and do you know somebody that played in it, or just anything? Tell me anything.
I one time had a tropical drink out of a fish bowl at a restaurant one time, but I don't know if that counts.
God, thank God I wasn't with you at that time.
No, you weren't. There's a bunch of us. We all got the fish bowl drinks for like $10 a piece.
Fish bowl drinks?
Hey, we were all sick. Yeah, they were in fish bowls, and it was like a mix, like it was vodka and a bunch of other stuff in it.
Yes.
Nice mixed fruity drink, and $10, I think, and got you feeling pretty good. Don't worry, nobody drove after that. We all sat around and drank water after.
Yeah.
We were all responsible. So
once again,
that's the only tropical bowl experience I have. Or if you put a bunch of pineapple in a bowl, and I will eat that too.
Oh,
that's the other tropical bowl I will eat.
Okay, well that's it for this week's World of Football scoreboard. So let's move on to some NFL news.
Does a bowl of tricks count? Because that's a bunch of tropical fruit in cereal form.
Let's move on to some NFL news.
Oh, okay.
The Houston Texans fired their head coach, Dave Culley, after one season, going 4-3.
And this was 4 days. This was on a Thursday, I believe.
Yeah, it was late.
Really weird how late
week.
this one was. But, then we have another head coaching fire, and that took place like right after we got off recording that afternoon.
Yeah,
so.
The New York Giants firing head coach Joe Judge after 2 seasons. He had posted a 10-23 record. So now, by my count, that leaves 7 vacancies. I heard somebody on the TV saying 8 vacancies. I can't think what the other one is, but I know of 7 vacancies. The Las Vegas team probably is going to get a new coach. Miami, Minnesota, Chicago, Denver, the New York Giants, and Houston. Yeah. Those are the teams that are looking for head coaches.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there was an 8th. I'm pretty sure you got all of them.
Yeah, maybe they misquoted on TV, but as soon as they said that, I'm like, I only got 7 written down. Oh, well. And in other news, the Detroit Lions coaching staff is going to be coaching in the Senior Bowl on February 5th. I think that's a great thing for Detroit.
With the New York Jets, mind you. That's the other school.
Oh, is that who's doing the other side?
That's the other side. Yep, the other side.
Okay.
And the Jets have 2 top 10 picks. I think they're number 3. Not number 3. I think they're number 3 in the draft.
No, Houston has got number 3.
Oh, they got a couple of top 10 picks.
Yeah.
So the Jets will also capitalize on doing this. So,
But I mean, I think that's great for the Lions because they can see a lot more players up close and personal. Spend a whole week with these kids rather than just see them and interview them at the scouting combine or trust somebody else's opinion. The scout's opinion. The coaching staff gets to see these and compare notes.
I mean, the Lions have done this before.
Oh yeah,
and I forget who we took after that draft or at the top of my head, but you would think that this would be a great opportunity. I'm surprised teams don't volunteer to coach for some of these games just as an extra leg up on scouting guys. And I think the Rams one year, or at least our GM who was with the Rams as a scout was at the this particular Senior Bowl experience, and that's how he discovered Cooper Kupp. Nobody knew who Cooper Kupp was, and here he was. He found Cooper Kupp at this small school wherever he went, and look at Cooper Kupp now, the second most receiving yards in a season. Cooper Kupp is a great wide receiver.
Yeah.
Clearly our GM has an eye for talent. I think he got a lot of our draft picks right. So as a Lions fan, I'm super optimistic that they can turn this opportunity into a big gain going forward.
Yeah, hopefully they'll
find some diamonds in the rough.
They'll have another great draft this year like they had last year and continue to build this team from the ground up.
Yep.
All right, this is something that I kind of brought up to you the other day. There are still 4 teams that have never been to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now, of these 4 teams that have never been to a Super Bowl, 3 of them have the first 3 picks in the draft this year. That'd be the Jaguars with the first pick, the Lions with the second pick, and the Texans with the third pick. And then you've got the 4th team, the Cleveland Browns, who actually had an 8-9 record, but they've got the 13th pick this year in the draft. Do we see any of these 4 teams getting to a Super Bowl anytime soon in the next few years?
Not in the next 2 or 3 years. Maybe further down the road. I could probably be persuaded. It just you'd think the Browns, with all the talent they've had, would be the closest right now.
They were in the playoffs last year.
They were in the playoffs last year. I feel like they've just basically imploded. I don't think they have a great identity right now. They don't. I mean, they got a lot of good talent. No identity. The Texans, they're kind of starting from scratch again. Just fired their head coach. The Jaguars, looking for a head coach as well.
Yeah.
And that might be. There's one of the other teams you missed.
That's the one. Okay.
See, I knew that'd solve itself.
All right. Jaguars are the 8th team. Okay.
Okay. Yep. So the Jaguars, looking for a coach as well. I mean, they got some good young pieces. I mean, you got a Trevor Lawrence who I think will turn into a decent quarterback if you find the right coaches there to help build a team around him and staff to build around him. And the Lions, they've shown a lot of promise with some of their younger guys. Are they that close to a I'm not going to say they're close. I think they're going to improve, but not Super Bowl improve in 2 or 3 years' time. I think I made a prediction. We went to the Hall of Fame. Remember when we went to the Hall of Fame? And
which time?
The time I got to develop my own Lions Super Bowl ring.
Oh.
And I do believe, I'd have to go back and relook, but I believe I did predict the Lions would go to Super Bowl 60. I said give them about 5 or 6 years, and they'll go to Super Bowl 60. I believe that's what I made the ring out to be. I'd have to go look at it, and I can do that as you talk.
Well, that leads right into my next thing I had. Everybody is coming out right now with these articles on these way too early predictions.
I hate way too early predictions.
I hate these things.
I hate these things too, and I hope we never do that on this show because we have integrity. We, stand for something. And I have a feeling that you're about to let me down.
Yes, I am.
Oh, my God.
So, I mean, there are always way too early predictions on who's going to win the national championship. Way too early prediction on who's going to win the Heisman next year. Way too early prediction on who's going to win the Big Ten or the SEC or the Pac-12. Stupid articles. And they're so stupid that I came up with my own.
Okay, hold on. I found my picture. I want to prove it to you, and I'll put it on the thumbnail for our thing. Super Bowl LX or XL. No, LX for 60.
Okay.
I did predict that the Lions would go to Super Bowl 60. I'm a realistic Lions fan, and I knew whatever turnaround we had.
Well, now I did not talk to you about this. This is something I did.
I made this prediction back in 2019, by the way, so I did this way before you did.
Okay. Well, just in the last day or so, I came up with my own way too early prediction about.
God. I can't wait to rip this apart.
It was about Super Bowl 60 in 2024, 4 years from now. And here's my prediction. Rookie quarterback Arch Manning will be acquired who was acquired this past offseason by the Detroit Lions from the London Jaguars, throws 5 touchdown passes to lead Detroit to a 35-10 victory over Tom Brady and the Cleveland Browns.
Oh
the
my
Browns
God.
were the defending Super Bowl champions. The loss denied the 49-year-old Brady of his 10th Super Bowl title. The game was played in St. Louis, home of the St. Louis Chargers. It was Detroit's first NFL title since 1957. Lions head coach Dan Campbell was named NFL Coach of the Year. That's my way too early prediction for Super Bowl 60.
Oh my God! I wish we would have set up the cameras for that bit, because I would make sure that clip made it onto the internet, and that you would be lambasted by all Lions fans across the Twitter sphere. What a magical world you live in.
It's stupid because all these way too early predictions are stupid.
Yeah.
So I try to come up with something equally as stupid.
So to start picking apart your thing, first off, why would the Jaguars get Arch Manning when they already have a quarterback in Trevor Lawrence?
Well, that's probably because they had the first overall pick again.
Why
and
would
they took
Tom
him
Brady
and then traded him away?
Why would Tom Brady, with his old brittle bones, decide to go from sunny Florida up to snowy, crappy Cleveland?
Because the Bucks finally said, "You're too old. We got a new quarterback here, and we want to give him a chance." And so he had to go wherever he could go. And the only team that said, "Hey, come on up here," was the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I think any team would take a Tom Brady, no matter how old he is. And but in there, you also say his 10th Super Bowl. So he's on Super Bowl. He's won 7 now?
He's got 7 right now.
So you said between now and then, he'll win 2 Super Bowls.
Probably. Probably, yeah.
And the other unrealistic thing, a game being played in St. Louis. I do believe, though, that the Chargers could move to St. Louis.
Well, there you go.
But other than that, and the London Jaguars was a bit laughable. But yeah, this sounded just as moronic as half the crap I hear from ESPN. So congratulations. I think they could give you a job.
Thank you. All right, in some college news, after 7 months of talks, the NCAA Playoff Management Committee could not agree on how to expand the college football playoffs from 4 teams to 12 teams. And this was, I think the night before the College Football National Championship is when they announced this. So it's been about a week or so, but I was just reading about it today. The current 4-team playoff format goes through the end of the 2025 season. Many of the 11 members of the board favored expansion, but they just can't agree on how to get it done. And I know we've thrown out some suggestions before. Yeah. The article I read said that they were worried about, teams jumping from conference to conference, making an unbalanced thing, and how would they do that? I was listening to Greeny today, Mike Greenberg, and he was saying go back to the old format, which I like. Where the bowls meant something. The Rose Bowl should always be between the Pac-12 and the Big Ten, and other bowls should be set up where that's your bowl. I mean, you fight every year to get to your bowl game. Let the other stuff happen as however it will. But that's your goal every year, is to win your conference so you can go to that bowl game and be on national TV. But I think they should have the bowls set the way they were, and then have a +1. After the bowl games are done, then you can have one more ranking from the Associated Press or a committee or something. But after that, you come up with the top 2 teams after the bowl games are done, and then they would play in a national championship game a week or 2 after the bowls.
I don't know.
That's just my opinion.
This is always an ever-evolving thing for me. Like, I always tweak my idea. I still think I am in favor of them keeping like the traditional bowl matchups, but it makes it uneven. If you're trying to get to like a 12 or 18 playoff, it makes it uneven because like there's only 10 conferences in Division I, and we all know that the group of 5 schools really won't get much of a shot. But
Right.
I don't know. There's got to be a way to format it to where you can keep the Rose Bowl. Like a lot of these games, like the big SEC versus SEC versus ACC champion or bowl game is or whatnot. But there could be a way to like make a rotating, or like you draw it out of a hat. Like here's your bracket of 8 possible teams or games or whatever, and say like the Rose Bowl gets picked. So that matchup goes in one side of the bracket, and then the winner of the Rose Bowl will play the winner of and you go in the hat and you pick out a different bowl game, and you just randomly match them up. Yeah. And then you start your tournament from there. So it makes you go out and you still win your bowl game. So the Big Ten champ has to beat the Pac-12 champ. You go from the Rose Bowl and you go into the Final Four playoff or something like that. Like I think there's a way you could do it to keep the tradition in there, but I also think that they could just shorten the regular season down.
Yes, that is another
Go to
thing.
an all-conference season. Maybe one out-of-conference game, which means you have to schedule better.
Well, they used to play a 10-game season, then they went to a 12-game, and then they have the conference championship game.
I say
So
go
that's
back to
13 games.
I say go back to a 10.
Go back to a 10-game, maybe a conference championship game, but maybe not.
Yep, I say go back to a 10-game schedule, and I think it's got to be the same across the board. You can't have one conference playing 12 to 13 games while the other conferences are playing 11 or 12. Like that's
Right.
come on. That's I think that comes up to the NCAA, where I think they need to come out with a flat set of criteria for everybody. Look, you will all have 10 to 12 game schedules. Pick one, pick 10 or pick 12.
Right.
Or 11. Pick an 11 game schedule. Have 10 in conference games, or have your right amount of in conference games, and then you can schedule your out of conference games so that you can determine like Alabama played Ohio State earlier in the season. Like, let's get some of these matchups and make these schools have to start thinking about maybe they have to merge conferences to be relevant. I think that's what's going to eventually happen. I think they should just reshape the whole landscape with all the conferences anyway into four main conference, super conferences. Adapt some of the MAC schools, or just like I said, or leave the group of 5 out of everything and just have a gold division and a silver division. Have 2 different national championships for the different tiers of Division I college football. Because like I said, Western Michigan ain't ever gonna go win a national. Don't never say never. We went undefeated one year and we didn't get a shot, which is fine. They probably didn't deserve it anyway. But I think there needs to be a different level, because there's clearly a different difference between a Power 5 and a Group of 5. Even though Cincinnati proved that they were pretty decent this year and deserved to be in that college football playoff discussion.
There'll always be a team here and there that can buck the system.
And maybe there could be an at-large. I don't know how you fix this. Nobody knows how to fix this. That's why it isn't getting fixed. So we're just shouting nonsense right now.
Yeah. Okay, I do have a little bit of high school news. Now,
no.
I haven't talked to you about this, but earlier today I saw this an article, and it had a link to a news report from a local Pittsburgh TV station. And I've got this on our Twitter feed.
Where's this going?
And on our Facebook feed. A high school football coach in the Pittsburgh area said this. The guy's name was Dan Delano?
DeLeo? Maybe the L's are like
Delalo.
It's like quesadilla. Maybe it's like DeLeo.
But anyway, he's from the Pittsburgh area, high school coach, and he tweeted this to his players. And I'm reading it verbatim.
Okay, just get to it. Gosh, you're setting
Due
it
to
up.
the expected severe weather, Monday's weightlifting workout has been canceled. Find an elderly or disabled neighbor and shovel their driveway. Don't accept any money. That's our Monday workout. And so what the reporter was doing was following a lot of these football players around as they were shoveling out people's driveways. And they were all having a good time. They were taking pictures of each other, doing the driveways and doing the steps and the sidewalks for people. It was just a really, really great story.
That's a good story.
And it was a nice little feature on the local news there, which is part of the article. So go check that out on our Twitter or Facebook feed. Just a very, very nice story that I didn't think was going to get a lot of attention. So I wanted to put that out there. Okay, Arena Football TV on YouTube. I did not see a new one this week, but there's always, there's over 500 games out there. Go check out Arena Football TV on YouTube. Check out some old Arena Football games. And in fact, that's what our history lesson's about today, is some scores in the Arena Football League, but we'll get to that in a minute.
We're talking about scores.
Yeah. After a few obituaries, this is where we take a moment to honor those who have made the world of football a better place. We have 2 obituaries this week. The first one is Don Suds Southern, a defensive back in the NFL and in the CFL. He died at the age of 85 this past week. Southern played college football at Ohio State and was selected in the 8th round of the 1958 NFL Draft by the New York Giants. However, he signed with the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the Canadian Football League and played in Hamilton in 1958. He joined the Giants in 1959 and was traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers during the season. He played in Pittsburgh through 1960, and then he returned to the Tiger Cats in the CFL. He played in Hamilton from 1961 to 1966 and won 2 Grey Cup titles in 63 and 65. Southern then played for the Ottawa Rough Riders from 1967 to 1969, and won 2 more Grey Cup titles in 1968 and 1969. He finished his playing career with the Toronto Argonauts in 1970. Southern went on to be the head coach of the Hamilton Tiger Cats from 1994 to 1997.
All right, and our second and final obituary this week is that of Junior Seavey. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. We were debating on how it was said before the show.
I tried looking it up on YouTube.
Seavey?
I heard it, but it was everything was like a computer-generated thing. So Siavii. Ciavi, Ciavi, I'm not sure.
I'm going to say Ciavi,
Okay.
a defensive tackle in the NFL for 4 seasons, has passed away in Leavenworth Prison in Kansas while awaiting trial at the age of 43. No details of the cause of death were immediately released. Ciavi was arrested in August of 2019 while driving a stolen car containing a gun and drugs. He played college football at Oregon and was selected in the second round of the 2004 NFL Draft by the Kansas City Chiefs. He played with the Chiefs from 2004 to 2005. He also played for the Dallas Cowboys in 2009 and the Seattle Seahawks in 2010.
Yeah, from what I understand, when I was reading this, he had his best season as a pro in his last season with the Seahawks. Lots of tackles and just played a whale of a season that year. And what a tragic life. Just sad to hear something like that. At age of 43, he had all the promise in the world, being drafted in the NFL, and had a gap between the years he played. But a little sad story. We don't normally read stories like that, but for some reason, I just felt like I had to read this one today, or have you read it.
Yeah.
All right, today's birthdays. January 18th, quarterback Pat Sullivan, born on this day in 1950. He passed away in 2019 at the age of 69, played his college football at Auburn, and was the 1971 Heisman Trophy winner. He was selected in the second round of the 1972 NFL Draft by the Atlanta Falcons, and he only played 4 NFL seasons, all with Atlanta from 1972 to 1975. He was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1991. He was also the head coach at TCU from 92 to 97. He spent time as the quarterback's coach at Auburn, and he was also the head coach at FCS Samford, the Bulldogs, from 2007 to 2014. Another birthday today, defensive end Julius Peppers turns 41 years old today. He played his college football at North Carolina and was the second overall pick in the 2002 NFL Draft by the Carolina Panthers. He played 17 NFL seasons. He was with the Panthers from 2002 to 2009. He played for the Bears from 2010 to 2013. He was with the Packers from 2014 to 2016, and he ended his career back with the Panthers between 2017 and 2018. And finally, quarterback Tobin Rote, born on this date in 2018. He passed away in 2000 at the age of 72 in Saginaw, Michigan. Played his college football at Rice University, was drafted in the second round of the 1950 NFL Draft by the Green Bay Packers. Played for the Packers from 1950 to 1956. Then he signed with the Lions, where he played from 1957 to 1959. He went up to Canada, played with the Toronto Argonauts for 3 seasons from 1960 to 1962. Then he went to the AFL, where he played with the San Diego Chargers in 63 and 64, and finished his career with the Denver Broncos in 1966. He won an NFL title with the Lions in 1957, and an AFL title with the Chargers in 1963. So, happy birthday to all of those. Two that have passed away and one that's still alive. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. I mean, I remember the name Tobin Rote with the Lions when taking him to the 57 championship, but I didn't know he played up in Canada too. So 3 seasons in Canada before he came back to the States. Okay, anything on your phone before we move on to this week's history lesson?
I don't believe so. No breaking news as of right now, so you're good.
Nothing strange like Daniel Radcliffe is going to play Weird Al Yankovic in a movie.
I mean, if you want to sit and talk about it, I got all day. We can talk about why that's a good plan.
That just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, you'll never know till you
Weird
see
Al
the movie.
should be playing himself. You can do that.
No, he can't.
All right, well then let's move on to this week's history lesson. This week we're going to talk about the range of scorers in the Arena Football League, some of the highs and lows, and everything arena football this week. The Arena Football League played its first season in 1987 and its final season in 2019. Over the course of its 32 seasons, the AFL was known for its high-scoring games and wall-to-wall action. It was known as the 50-yard indoor war. The rules were slanted towards the offense to ensure lots of scoring, and the fans loved it. Here are some examples of the kinds of scores I'm talking about. The most points ever scored in an AFL game was on July 7, 2001, when the New York Dragons defeated the Carolina Cobras by the score of 99-68. That was a combined score of 167 points in one game. There was only one other game that had that many points scored. On May 8, 2010, the Oklahoma City Yard Dogs defeated the Bossier Shreveport Battle Wings by the score of 88-79. Over the years, 4 other teams also scored over 90 points in a single game. The Philadelphia Soul scored 92 points in 2012. The Grand Rapids Rampage also scored 92 points in 2008. The New Jersey Red Dogs scored 91 points in 1997, and the Spokane Shock scored 90 points in 2012. In 2013, the Orlando Predators narrowly defeated the Spokane Shock by the score of 83-82, and in 2003, the Arizona Rattlers squeaked by the Grand Rapids Rampage by the score of 82-81. Adam and I just happened to be at that game in Grand Rapids as we were Rampage season ticket holders at the time. On the low end of the scoring spectrum, the Albany Firebirds defeated the Washington Commandos 16-12 on June 9, 1990, in a game that saw a league-low 28 combined points. In 32 seasons, only 2 games ever ended in a tie. The first came in the league's second season, on July 14, 1998. In the final week of the regular season, the Chicago Bruisers and the Los Angeles Cobras played to a 37-37 tie in L.A. That was the score at the end of regulation, and neither team scored in the overtime period. The second was a game between the Nashville Cats and the Dallas Desperados, played in Dallas on April 8, 2005. That game was tied 41-41 at the end of regulation, and, once again, there was no scoring in the overtime period. The overtime rules at the time stated that each team would have at least one possession during a 15-minute overtime period. If they were still tied after one possession, play would continue and the next team to score would be the winner. If the two teams were still tied at the end of the overtime period, the game would go into the books as a tie. There was also just one shutout in league history. That was on June 13, 1992. The Orlando Predators shut out the San Antonio Force by the score of 50-0 in Orlando. San Antonio was playing in its first season in the AFL and posted a 2-8 record that year. It turned out to be their only season in the Arena Football League, as the team folded after just one season. So as you can see, the Arena Football League was set up to score a lot of points, and its teams usually did, much to the delight of its many devoted fans.
Yeah, you tend to remember where you were when you saw a high-scoring arena football game. I mean,
I remember.
like you mentioned, we were at the Arizona Rattlers Grand Rapids game, 82-81. I'll never forget that. That was a heck of a shootout.
Yeah.
Came down to the last play.
Yeah, they had like 3 or 4 shots from the 1-yard line.
Yeah.
They'd score and there was a penalty, or they wouldn't score and there was a penalty on the defense, or they got another. They had like 3 shots from the 1-yard line when they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't do it. I think it was a 2-point conversion they were going for to win the game.
I remember watching the 99-point game.
Yes, we saw that on TV.
I was visiting an aunt and uncle, and they had the game on the TV, and it just had like, I don't know if I watched the whole game, but I remember that ended up being a 99-point game.
Just we were rooting for them to break 100.
Yeah.
And they never broke 100 in the AFL, but that was the closest.
Did in the AF2 a team scored over 100 points?
Did they?
Yep, the Quad City Steamwheelers in the AF2 had like 103 points in a game once.
Well, we may have to do another history lesson.
I thought you're going to have to say you were going to have to go redo your history lesson.
No. All right, let's move on to our upcoming events calendar. Saturday, January 29th, the National Football League Players Association Collegiate Bowl played at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. This is one of those all-star games we have heard about.
And I believe on the 28th is that new Kevin James movie about Sean Payton coming out on Netflix.
Oh, really?
I forget what the name of the movie was.
I saw the ad for that. It looks kind of silly.
It looks terrible, but I'm sure we'll have to watch it and talk about it.
Yeah, maybe. Wednesday, February 2nd, the Washington football team is going to unveil their new name and logo.
Yes.
This should be interesting.
The Washington Commanders.
Yeah.
That's been the leaked name. Is the Commanders. We've seen some logos out there. We'll see if it's all real.
Yeah. In the history lesson, I mentioned the Washington Commandos.
Yeah.
And I thought, is that no, Commanders. Okay. I thought it was almost the same name. Let's see. Thursday, February 3rd, East-West Shrine Game in Las Vegas. Saturday the 5th, the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. Sunday, February 6th, the NFL Pro Bowl game in Las Vegas. And Sunday, February 13th, Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles. Then we got to reach out to March 1st through the 7th, the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis. And finally, on April 28th through the 30th, the NFL Draft in Las Vegas.
Yep. Gonna be there's no sleep for football.
Ends.
There's never any sleep for
Always
football.
something. If you're a football fan, you do not have to follow any other sports. Right. You just follow your football, and there's always something going on, whether it's college, NFL, XFL, CFL. You don't have to follow anything else. If you're a football fan, you're a football fan.
Yep, and if you're a big football fan like us, there's definitely no sleep and definitely no week that goes by when you don't podcast about it.
Pretty much. Although we may take a little break this sometime.
I finally get my paid vacation request?
Maybe.
Yes.
We'll see. We'll see how things go. Depends on how much we got to talk about.
Yeah.
It's a slow week. We may skip that one. All right. Anything else?
Nope. I think we're good. Again, checking the breaking news. There is none. So feel free to... other than we didn't mention Western Michigan's coach getting a 2-year extension.
I was just going to mention that.
Okay.
That hit my phone just before we started recording.
Yeah.
So good for him.
Yep.
Western Michigan had a pretty good season. They lost a couple games in the season they shouldn't have, but they
definitely won a couple you didn't expect them to win.
Well, that's true too. They went into Pittsburgh and beat.
Yeah, that's their big win.
The Pittsburgh Panthers. And next year the Pittsburgh Panthers are coming here to Waldo Stadium in Kalamazoo. I am going to get tickets to that.
Yep, get tickets to that. I'd almost go to Michigan State to go see Western play Michigan State.
Yeah, they play Michigan State, too, over there in East Lansing. So, yep, already looking forward to next football season.
We're not even done with this football season.
I know. Well, that's all the time we've got for this week. If you learned something during this podcast about the incredible amount of diversity that exists in the world of football, then we've done our job. Visit our website at theworldoffootball.com for news, links, upcoming events, videos, and more. Our email address is info@theworldoffootball.com.
You can also, as Adam yawns, you can also like The World of Football on Facebook at TWOF Kalamazoo, where we post a lot of unique stories, pictures, highlights, and videos from all over the world of football. You can also follow our Twitter, which is at TWOF Kalamazoo. New episodes of this podcast are posted every Tuesday and are available on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. Our YouTube channel is The World of Football Kalamazoo. So please subscribe, rate, review, give us your football opinions, juxtaposed to our own. And I lost my train of thought because I totally went off script.
Come be a part of the football conversation.
Yeah, come be a part of the football conversation however you'd like.
Once again, we are doing our weekly NFL picks, and this year, however, they're available exclusively on our YouTube channel. So look for them every Thursday, or in this case, maybe Friday.
I think I'm going to set a
Saturday
deadline
morning.
for Friday evening, maybe, or Saturday morning before the playoff games hit. So
I say Friday evening.
Oh, we'll see what my schedule looks like. I'm a busy YouTuber myself.
Yeah.
So I got other priorities.
Okay.
My editing schedule is so full.
Yeah. And remember, folks, some people may love football more than we do, but nobody, and I mean nobody, loves more football than we do. Join us again next week when we'll review all the happenings in and around the world of football. Until then, I'm Randy Snow.
And Adam's debating on whether or not to keep the show dragging on to get past the 60-minute mark or to go short again.
End it. End it now, son.
Okay, well, you'd hate to hear your father tell you to end it.
Just
hit the stop button?
Just stop.
I'm just going to, what if I hover my finger over the stop button like this?
You got another 30 seconds. Don't do that.
Okay, fine. We'll see y'all next week.